I have to stop thinking about
I'm not gonna be able to breathe.
And we are live. Yay. Okay. It took a little minute there. I don't know what that was about. Loading was like kind of sketchy for a minute, but we're
I
here.
think it goes live before it tells you.
Probably, usually I don't see the little loady ring thing going on, but it did it this time. It's weird. Anyway. All right. So I guess we'll have some people here in a few minutes. They're like one person, but that could be me. Oh, my extra one. So
Oh, that could be me. And there you go. Yeah, it's two of us now.
somebody,
It's a delay. I
always a delay.
can't.
Okay.
I
So
can't. I can't.
you so funny. They gonna be like, what were they talking about? Like, what?
What
No,
did you call me?
The
what they're gonna do?
YouTuber
They're gonna be
Dash,
like, poor
um,
Stewie, poor Stewie.
the YouTuber Dash
I've
started
heard
that.
worse.
Yeah, that's not nothing. That's like fun. The dude, a YouTuber Dashy started that. He always says that. Like that's what he refers to when he says
Who?
Dashy. Dashy Games. He's like the one of the YouTube
Oh,
gamers. He's one of the bigger ones, and he always says that. Of course, the SJW market tries to come for him, but it's a waste of time coming for that dude because he don't. He's so funny. Like the dude had like a comedy YouTube thing before he got into the gaming thing, and he's like, if you watch his gaming streams, like the dude is hilarious. Like you just cracking up the whole time with him. He's too much. But anyway, so
tried
let's
to
go.
watch my son, and he, I can't watch. I can't watch gamers.
Yeah, well, they like Dashy's like a comedian, like literally when he does his. But I'm actually gonna start up a Twitch gaming channel myself, and I'm gonna not become a thought. So that'll be different. Because on
I
Twitch,
watch.
that's what they are.
I watch Sarah's.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
I
heard
watch
that.
Sarah's. I had fun with that.
I could have been. I've been told about it a long time ago to do. I've been gaming since I was like 4, so I figure why not also to do that too. All right, so let's do our introductions. DL, you want to go for it?
Dale Stewart. Typically write adult medieval fantasy. I believe tonight I am actually going to work on my memoir. So, yeah.
Yay, memoir.
Yep.
And Aphrodite.
I'm Aphrodite. I don't have any other names to my name because I'm not important. And so tonight I am scripting my November YouTube vlogs.
Ooh, look at you being ahead. You already got October ready to go.
But yeah, I had to do September and October because I knew I was gonna be busy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Smart.
I just
Smart.
now I'm gonna do November and then give myself a break.
That was very, very intelligent. And good idea. So as you know, this is my channel. I'm Arthur D. Tillery. Tonight I'll be still finishing my revision for Cagliostro, Tales of the Live Virgin, which is my debut novel, and I'll be sending it off to my editor October 1st. So we already signed the contract and everything. So I have to get that ready to go. Kind of nervous actually a little bit. I didn't think I would get nervous. I don't get nervous about anything, so I'm a little shocked by that. But people always ask me when I perform, like before I go on stage, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, I don't get nervous when I perform at all. And people think you might because I'm an improver and I don't do choreography. So, like, you get nervous, you gonna mess up. I'm like, first off, I'm an improver.
Improv, like, you gotta kind of be on your toes anyway.
You
So
do have to.
I
That's
like doing
another.
not dancing improv. I like doing acting improv.
Yeah, I love doing dance and improv. I can do choreography, and did a lot of choreographing of dances, but I like improv a little bit. It's kind of like on the spot, painting or something like that in front of somebody. It's just coming up something on stage, like so. I kind of like that. Um, but my writing is not like that. I am a planner for sure when that comes to that. So anyway, we're going to be working on that stuff tonight. Once we get some more people here, then they can chime in what they're working on. But we do have some questions for tonight, and actually based off of Aphrodite's whole goal thing, which we think much alike because I didn't know she was releasing those videos today. And our topic for tonight is a writer's life goals. It's only 3 questions, so we don't really get to go into that much detail about what our goals could be, but let's see what we get out of it. The first question is, what are your writing plans for the rest of 2019? Since Aphrodite is probably well planned out for that already, since she has videos up, what are the rest of your plans for 2019,
As
Aphrodite?
far as writing like new stories. Is that what you mean?
Whatever your writing plans are. It doesn't have to be based to writing something new, but just what are your plans? Whether that's, you have an event planned, you have something based on a book that you're working on. If you're working on a book right now, whatever your rest of your writing plans from now to the end of December are.
The only thing I do have one new work, and that's worshipped in the Encounters universe. It's not Encounters, just in that universe, and I will technically, officially start writing that in a couple weeks because I need at least 3 chapters of it done for my novel release. Other than that, I am not writing anything new. I'm still working on old stuff. I'm planning the whole race to the novel release party. So I'm working those steps out.
Yeah.
Or rather, not working them out. I have the steps. I'm working the steps now. So where I'm at today is getting my November stuff sorted so I don't have a backlog of stuff I have to get done. I don't know how to say that correctly.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that all the videos, all the vlogs, all the blogs, all my Patreon, all that stuff that I have to do is loaded and ready to go. And so it's one thing that I don't have to worry about as we move forward. But I have no works in the works. Right now I'm trying to play massive catch up and massive try to get ahead. So I can break it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good goals though. We all got our goals. What about you, Dia? What's your goals for the rest of this year?
I plan on trying to finish the first draft of Sovereign Duties by the end of the year. That's been my goal. It took me about 2 years to write the Battle for Metagore, so I figured I'd try to cut that in half and try to do it in a year. So that's what I've been doing this year.
Cool. Okay. Very focused goal there. I would say myself, right now, my goal right now, currently for 2019, is obviously to finish my revision and to get that to my editor. Now that's more short lived because at October 1st it goes off to her, and then my plans pretty much fall into um, beta run, of course, get that going, send it off to my alpha, and then start getting my betas together, make the group for that. Um, and then, of course, get my schedule for my YouTube channel back in order as far as my pre-recorded videos, since my streams are mostly on schedule. And then focusing on the design of my cover for my debut novel. So that's going to be probably, I'm still focusing on Cagliostro for the rest of the year because that's my debut novel for next year. I have so many stories planned to release like right after that and in between that release. So right after I get Cagliostro where it needs to be, getting it back from my editor and deciding on a cover design and everything, since I plan on doing my own cover right now, and then figuring out if I'm going to do my own formatting or if I'm going to hire a company to do the formatting. That's still up in the air right now at the moment. But just I guess it's going to be Cagliostro for the rest of the year, since we only have a couple months left for the rest of the year anyway. So that's going to take up all my time.
No, don't remind me.
Yeah, it's drawing near to the end already, and we'll be at 2020, and then that's a whole nother beast. So yeah. Alrighty, so let's see here. I don't know how many more people we're gonna get tonight, but we're gonna go ahead and start our first sprint, which we might get more writing done tonight if we don't have too much talk to end up popping up. We'll see. Because
what I have to write, I'll be able to get done before we get done.
Oh, that's good. Plus, yeah. So we can, do you guys want to do a 20-minute sprint to start, and then we can fall into 15s?
It's up to
her. Okay, so maybe a few more people pop in, and then we can fall into 15-minute sprint. So let's do a 20, and then we can come back at 8:22, and then see where we are, and then we can fall into the second question.
So, why is my light going in and out?
I don't know. I thought maybe a light in your room was blinking.
It isn't.
That's weird. Is it the screen then? Maybe weird. I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, I will be bad. If I pull myself out, can you pull me back in?
I'm not sure. I think you might have to just scroll the link, and then I can add you if you
We'll
react.
find, we gotta find out because I gotta make sure that I'm
Something
not
else doesn't
my
happen.
yeah. Because y'all saw it though, right?
Yeah, I saw it
So it's,
flashing. I
so
just
it's
didn't
not
want to
my
pull out.
eyes. Okay, I just want to. I read
So if
back.
you pull out, that's cool. Once I see you show back up,
It's
I'll just add.
happening again.
Yeah, it is. So you go ahead and do that. We're gonna be on the stream on the sprint anyway. So we'll be back at 23. 23.
I gotta
All
read back.
right. I'll count us out 3, 2, 1, and right. See you in 23.
Can y'all still hear me?
I can still hear you.
All right, y'all can still hear me.
Your screen just went black.
Okay, yeah, I clicked the screen, but hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay, you good.
Maybe it might be the camera that's reacting like that.
This is true.
It might need more light than my girl was providing. So let's see. Okay, we'll see. Should we be back?
We are back now. I didn't get a chance to click the button yet.
I just looked down. I was like, wait a minute. I feel like I've been on the roll. And I'm thinking, should I still be on the roll?
Yeah, just like a minute past. Hey everyone who's joined us. I did try to keep up with the chat. Who did join us? So let's see. If you're just joining us, then you can answer the first question in the description, which I will read it again for you. The question tonight we answered was, what are your writing plans for the rest of 2019? That pretty much was based to anything you have planned for writing. And you can let us know what you're working on tonight or what you plan on working on tonight if you're just joining us. Hey, Michael. Michael said you got 135 words. Good job. I know you probably joined us mid sprint, like quite a few people came in mid sprint. How did you guys do with your work? Oh, you did. You got 343 words and on your last script. Nice. Good job.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked about that because it didn't feel like I got that far, but I did.
Yeah.
I got about 600 more to go.
That's good.
I think I'll make it for the evening. It might be a little more than 600, but I'm averaging it 300 per section, and I have 3 sections.
Cool.
So,
good job. How you, DL?
I got 483.
Good job. Nice.
Just had to fill me up, didn't you? Just had to show me up. I'm just playing.
Yeah, I'm playing. I did edit probably about 385 words. I did edit one page. That one had a little bit more, so I kind of was back and forth with something a bit. Cutting words, adding words, cutting words. You know, that balance game. Gotta love it. Woo. See, Michael. I don't know why my chat's delayed over here on the screen, but it's faster on my tablet. Looks like.
Yeah, and it's faster on my phone too. All devices seem to be a little different.
Yeah, very true. So let me read it from the other chat.
Send me something to read if it's really getting to you.
Say, hey, what's up? I'm just finished dinner. 0 words, but excited to see you guys. Hey,
Eva.
That one. Michael said, I'm submitting a short story for a national competition, and I'm planning on finishing at least 2 stories by December, so I can edit them by March. Good plans there. Serious plans, good plans too. It was that my writing plans for 2019 include finishing a clean draft of my current project and during Nano, I'm going to write a middle grade story, I think. Good idea. I think I might do Nano this year. I haven't done it really.
Me and my niece are writing the same story, but she's writing the middle grade version and I'm writing the young adult version. So it's really cool. The only the only challenge with it is that we have to make sure it stays canon. So because her stories technically happened before mine, I always got to be aware, like, did somebody's hair color change? Did somebody's mama die? You know, that kind of thing in her story, so that those people don't exist or that situation isn't in mine. So we have to do it together since we're decide to do this, which trying to work with a 12-year-old is not fun. I mean, I can't lie, it is fun, but it's like, hurry up, give me the new character stuff. And she's like, well, I can't decide if so-and-so is going to be dating this one. Blah, blah. I'm like, girl, they are in middle school. Nobody dates.
In her mind, they do.
Oh, my God. If I let her go, she'd be writing the young adult one, actually.
I was going to say.
I'm like, nope. Act like it's you. You cannot date. It is you. Base it off you.
Oh my God! Everyone will stop messaging me right now.
Oh, that only happens when you're doing something else.
Yes, that should have never okayed the desktop notification. Like, I should not have done that.
But
That should have been
I'm
bad.
loving this project because we have like these four categories of species or creatures or whatever humans like to call them, and for the two of the levels of these particular species, they can't even be around humans.
Oh, okay.
So it's so much fun writing this.
Oh, I'm sure. Sounds like fun.
So much fun.
Interactive project
And
plan.
Sarah will be happy because they're a Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah. She'll be really happy about that. So I'll second.
Sasquatches are the bomb.
Oh well, yeah. I had a new person who was really afraid of them, like for real, and he made sure he didn't live in any states that they said they had such sightings about them. And people used to try to play jokes with him. He said, "I have a shotgun, so if you come up here playing around, don't complain when I kill you." So
Maybe he has a old memory of a Sasquatch of a past life, and he
I
can't
don't
figure out why he
know.
has that fear. 'Cause I know why I'm afraid of sharks.
He was not playing, so he was serious. Um so second question for the night is, what are your writing goals for 2020? Since we're getting so close to that. That's a wide open thing, obviously, because 2020 is yet to get here, and it's an entire year to think out if you have actually thought it out. If you have not, or you're speculating what your goals are for 2020, that is also okay. So let me know in the comments. And yeah, what about you guys? You want me to take that first, or you then think about it for a minute?
Yeah, you take it.
So my 2020 goals start off obviously at the beginning of the year. It's going to be Cali Astro because I have to plan for the release of it. So I'm not sure how I'm doing my launch party or whatever. I haven't planned that far ahead, but I know I have one planned. Whether it's going to be online or physically one. The launch of the book is in summer, so I don't know where in summer. So I have the summer blocked off for the release of my book early in the year. While I'm waiting to get it back, because I won't get it back until March. So when I get it back in March, then I can go ahead and follow it through to the rest of the release and all that stuff. Make sure I have the cover ready. So I think in the early part of the year, I'm going to be doing cover stuff, planning that, make sure that that's ready to go for when get the book back from my editor. And then, of course, I have to go through the book and read it and then edit it. And again, I'm sure because some things I'm probably not going to like, because I'm expecting that. I mean, it'd be great if it wasn't that way, but I don't expect it to be, where there's not going to be me editing it again or taking something out that I don't like that should change or whatever. So we'll see how that goes, and I have to post out to send it to my alpha. So after I had to read it again. um, but yeah, so that's my early year plans, and my summer plans is all about the release of the book, and then later in the year I'll be working on, once I get that set up to go out, I'll start working on my other books that's already ahead, so I can get that next one out of that, and then of course writing the second book in the series. So still focusing on the second book of Cagliostro, and then I wanted to get my poetry collection out and my horror compilation of my short stories. Those both are planned to be released next year, but later, like fall and winter of next year. So, and then I can just keep going on as that goes. So that's my plans anyway. So how about you guys? Whoever wants to take it next can go.
Well, I plan on trying to release the audiobook for the Battle for Metagore
Yay.
sometime early next year. I was thinking about maybe on the anniversary date of the actual book release. It might be before that. I don't know. It just depends how long I actually feel like sitting on it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then after that, since I plan on finishing book 2 this year, I'll start revisions and editing next year, as well as maybe starting writing on book 3 of it.
Cool. You got some plans going on. Very focused plans. I like that. And there's a 3-year-old. All right, Aphrodite, what about you? What's a roundabout plans for 2020, do you think?
I mean, I have 2020 planned out pretty much, but it's not going to be. I don't plan to do a lot of writing in 2020. Believe it or not. Now I say that, but I have a hard time not writing. But
I hear that.
I'm gonna work on. Well, I'm gonna definitely release worship, since worship will be done. But worship may actually hit the end of this year, depending on if I get it done.
Okay.
I'm not pressed about that coming out at a certain time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to be working on getting my spec scripts done and filming done, and I'm probably going to shoot a series next year, a web series. So, which is already written, so it's not something I have to write. So I'll probably be concentrating more on my film stuff next year,
Mhm.
and heavy stuff in my Patreon. I really want to spend time with my patrons and really give them some good stuff to reap the benefits of my last 18 months. So I'm going to probably be heavy in the school teacher mode
Mhm.
and filmmaker mode for 2020. I have no books that I'm planning to come out. I was thinking about putting Sheer out next year,
Mhm.
but
What you-
but Shattered is coming out. I mean, Sheer. That's a Sheer. I meant to say Stain. Shattered is coming out at the end of this year, so I felt like next year putting Stained out was too soon.
You wanna? How long do you think in between a book series, like when it's a 3 or 4 part? How long do you
I
think it releases, in your
I
opinion?
was gonna play it by ear based on how, I don't know how to say it right, like how popular it is, to
Okay.
give people a chance to really get into it. So I don't want it to be a big giant gap. I don't want somebody waiting 4 years to find out what happens next, kind of thing. But I also don't want to. That, I mean, it's a heavy book, and all four. I mean, all three of the books are heavy.
Yes.
So I don't want to put Stained out 2 months after I put Shattered out.
Not for that type of novel, obviously. That's a question too to get into. We don't have to rush on to the next sprint. We probably can start our next sprint at like 8:40. But Stewie, I have that question for you. What do you think is a reasonable amount of time for a decent sized novel to have the second book come out to give audience enough time to make sure they complete the book? What is your opinion on that?
Oh, I don't know. It just depends, I guess. I know me, I'm not going to try to rush. I'm trying to write them faster than when I did the first one because I know the first one I didn't write every day or even every week. There's a couple times I probably went a month or so without actually working on it, until I actually decided that I wanted to pursue publication. And then I started working on it more religiously. Um, so I knew I could cut that time in half with mine. So I was going to try to release the second one a lot faster since it took 4 years for the first book. I was going to try to go for about 2 or 3 years for the second, and then maybe even shorter for the third and shorter for the fourth. Just kind of see my own kind of rhythm and how much I can actually get done in the amount of time. But I would say for me, I would prefer maybe like a year and a half to 2 years.
That's what I
Um,
was thinking.
yeah, I didn't want to do it like shorter than a year because I just like the anniversary date later on, and it still being the only book of the series, but maybe not wait the full 2 years, maybe a year and a half or something.
Yeah, and the reason, and the other reason, like I feel like that is because, I mean, that's not the only book that I'm writing. So it's other stuff, other content that'll be out, and the Glass Corridor series is gonna be it. I don't know. I don't know how to say it right. I want people to have time to digest it. I'm not in a rush trying to worry about money and all that stuff. I want people to really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I really
my
do.
rapid release some stuff later on, but not like a series.
Not that
It'll be a
serious.
lot of standalones because I know while I'm working on Sovereign Duties, I was also working on The Gift of a Child as my side project. Now I'm working on my memoir. Once I get one of those kind of completed, I'm gonna start working on another one, and I'm just gonna kind of stockpile all those side projects and just keep working on the Metagore series and just releasing those. And then after I release all four of those, then I might have a stockpile and I might rapid release those like every 6 months or something.
I have so many that are ready
Mm-hmm.
that if I wanted to say 2020, every other month I could release a book.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yeah, I
really
did something
could.
like that when I did music.
I mean a book, like 50,000, 60,000 word book.
Yeah, in 2013, we had planned on releasing 13 different albums, like full length
Woo.
albums.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
busy.
I think
Music
we
for
were
sure.
actually got
Shit,
like
what's that? 130 songs, new songs, dude.
more than that. A lot of the tracks or CDs had closer to 20 tracks.
Oh
Woo.
shit! Look, I always do 10. Everything I wrote always had 10, 5 and 5.
Yeah,
That's
but I
cool.
think we
Wow.
actually got like 9 completely done or released that year, and then bits and pieces of the others.
Wow. Yeah,
Man,
that's
I promised you all videos of me singing some of those songs. I gotta get them done.
yeah, that'd be cool to
I
see.
need to put on some like 80s gear and stuff to do it though, because it's bubblegum, 80s bubblegum pop.
Oh yeah.
I
I'm
was
going to catch up with the chat here. Let's see. Ava, before we're saying no world building in my middle grade story idea, I need a break. Laugh all I can. Yeah, world building is no joke. Um Alex said publishing 2 to 3 books, including book 2 of Scars and my queer little mermaid retelling.
I
That's
love
cool.
retellings.
If you, I like that. If people do that a lot, and write a book with a friend, that is also good. Like Aphrodite's doing. I want to submit to agents and hopefully be traditionally published on a track for it. I'd also like to get a couple more drafts done. Good. In 2020, she was talking about.
A
Michael
couple more
said
drafts of different books.
probably different books, I would think. But
Okay,
she'll, I check and see if she answers
in the
that.
series, because like my Glass Corridor series, everything has all my books shattered. It has to do with shattered glass, stained glass, shared glass,
Yeah.
and those I have drafts for all those.
Yeah, she probably means multiple drafts of different books, I would imagine. Michael says, I'll probably submit an essay for the competition in January. I'll be editing and trying to submit 2 stories to a publisher or trying to raise money so I can afford to publish it myself. Yep, good plans. And Michael, yeah, I have 3 stories half done, and I'll be starting book 2 of Mages of Harlan. Harlan. Hey, Nova, thanks for joining. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Super villain in the house.
Yep.
What?
Oh, thank you, Nova. I decided to show my gloss little bit of my gloss, and I don't want to scare anybody away. So I didn't wear my leather and chains and stuff. So,
I didn't wear
yeah,
any makeup.
Me neither.
sometimes you got to face. Oh, what? DL, you need to get on your game. Don't be showing up here
Oh,
without your makeup on. Okay. I knew something was different.
We
I
got
was
to
like,
get you
what's
some guy some pancake makeup and some guy liner, my man.
like? What you
I
trying to
wore
play?
makeup before.
I seen videos of you.
So you notice I lost a lot of writing time this month. I'm hoping to get back to writing. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a minute, so I thought maybe you might have been busy. Where are these books, Stewart? Talk
I
to
got
you.
one out. It's on
Yep.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all that
Yep.
stuff.
Got the link down below. Know if you want to check it out. It is good. I've been reading it.
The
Oh,
ebook's
it's
on
good.
sale for 99 cents again.
It's on sale for 99 cents again. Mine is on sale for 99 cents too.
Yeah, you guys
Billy
better get it.
taught me how to do that because I tried and Amazon was not Amazon. KDP was giving me grief, and I was like, people do it all the time. Why can't I make my book 99 cents? And it's
Yeah,
Billy
sometimes
told
you
me what I
gotta
had to do.
And Ava said yes, different stories, Aphrodite.
That's what I thought you meant, but I wasn't sure.
Like I know mine seems like a lot, but I work on multiple books at a time, so
I
there's
do
a lot.
too. I feel you, Alec. We have a lot in common.
I would say it's a lot.
Yep.
I mean, that's relative to each person, so everyone can handle different amounts of things. So,
I
Yeah,
feel
I have
like
a
if
lot
I don't do
started.
that, I won't be able to get anything done.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a lot started. I try to pick one as my main project, which is my Metagore series, and I will just go hard on it like nonstop until I get burnt out, and then I'll switch to a different one and go on it until I get burnt out, and then switch to a different one. Kind of flip
yeah, I've
flop
been
around.
there, done that. Helps when I have a lot of short stories going at the same time because I can just complete one of those and then bounce back to Cagliostro and then bounce back to another one of those or whatever. So that's what I
Yeah,
did for a while there when I was needed a break from the book. So
yeah. I don't
whenever
really feel like I get like writer's block or anything. I just kind of get burnt out of writing about the same
happens,
characters or the same stuff.
yeah, it can happen.
So I
Yeah.
find if I just switch to a different story, different plot,
Especially if
different
you're heavy
characters,
on world
it just
building,
helps.
then you can get burned out when you're heavy on world building because there's a lot involved with it, and then you get burned out from all the layeredness of the writing involved. So
Yeah, that's
that's
why
when
right now I've been switching back and forth between my fantasy Metagore series and then my memoir, it's like completely different.
Completely different things like that. Yeah.
But you know what? In my Glass Corridor, and it's the only, first of all, it's the only coming of age story I've ever written in my life. But in my Glass Corridor series, the only reason that doesn't happen to me is because each book has a different concentration of characters that I'm doing, even though it's the same characters in it. Like for instance, in Shattered, you have that base set of characters who are going to be in all the books. But when you get to Stained, it's not about them anymore. It's about the next generation. And basically the ones in the first book are kind of the adults now, and then you have the next generation of people. And then when you get to Sheer, same thing happens, the next generation, even though you still have all those other prior people. So that's why I think in that world I don't get too crazy. Like get tired of writing them because I'm not writing about them per se. I mean, they're there and shit definitely is connected, if that makes sense. And crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's soap opera crazy. But my other stuff, like the Gemini Rising series and my Gen series, not only is it the same universe, but it's literally the next book pretty much picks up the next day. So it's almost like, you went through all that and you're just picking up the next day what happened. So yeah, it gets to be a lot, especially when it's fantasy and characters that everything about them you made up. They didn't exist 1 minute before you thought about them. There was no such thing as, Eden's Hollow, and now you got to make, where is that on the map? And everything about it has to be created from scratch.
Yeah, I know with my Metagore series, that's since I have so many different characters, I kind of jump around those where if I start getting burnt out on one, as well as they all kind of have their own little storyline within the book. So I could actually skip chapters and not really be skipping actual information because I could just be following this one character for a while, skip a couple chapters and do their next chapter. And then when I get burnt out, then I can go back and start following a different character. But I still get burnt out on the story as a whole after a while. So
I'm tired of reading Shattered. I really am tired of reading it, but I think I'm more tired of reading it because it's tugging at me as opposed to, like getting tired of it. I will not feel that way with the other stories. Right. I'll be like, oh, okay, can I put this dinosaur over here kind of thing? I've read this chapter 75 times. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Like, Shatter, on the other hand, it just eats me up reading it. Oh, Michael said something about one of his characters yelling at him. I have a character named Spencer Caprio who never let me say something that he wouldn't say. He never let me do anything that he wouldn't do. And if I tried to write, oh, Spencer went down this way, I will not get sleep until I change it. Oh, he would not do that. Okay, whatever. Fuck Spencer. Chill the fuck out. No. I had one of those. Whereas my bad guy character who was Chase, full run. Whatever I said he did, he did. He
does very well in the book. Let me catch up with the chat. Alex has book 2 of Scars has been drafted already. That is very good, especially when you had Bay. No, right now, baby. Steven said, I love world building, relaxes me. I have a system for world building. I should do a video on it, but it might end up being like 3 videos. Yeah, Nova. I did a little bit on world building. I didn't do, it's a long running series for that. I didn't get to finish that one on my videos, but world building is very complex no matter how you do it. So whenever you do a video series on that, it's going to be more than 1 or 2.
Oh, hell yeah. Mine will probably be 5 fucking parts.
Yeah, it's going to be like a series separately.
I had done a world building video like when we were first joined AuthorTube like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I had done a couple videos and kind of stopped for the rest of that year. And I did one and it was like only like 7 or 8 minutes. And now I can't do any video that's not like 20 or 30. So I've thought about going back because I know that would totally be like, I could probably do one every week for the whole year and just keep adding to it.
Yeah, it's
world building. Sorry about that. Building world, girl. I live in the OK Corral. Okay, building worlds is just crazy. And I mean, That's like a year class somewhere in college to learn.
Mhm.
If you uh yeah, if
I'm
I'm a
on Metagore Mondays or
story.
whatever. I can start doing that. It's a
Yeah,
little bit of
medical
world
Monday.
building as well as a little bit of talking about my book and stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Alex, all my scholars books are about different couples in the same group, so they can be read as standalones. So that's cool. I know read quite a few book series just like that. Like I said, I thought I'd be
I like series like that.
yeah, I thought I'd be finished the first book of Mages of Helleron. Is that Helleron or Helleron?
Holoron,
Helleron,
Um,
probably.
I think.
But one of the characters argued with me today, so I'm adding maybe three more chapters. Damn character screaming in my ear. Yes,
they will
they
do
might
it. They will
do
do
that.
it. That's what I'm talking about, Spencer. No,
Yeah.
I don't. I will not go there. I want to be where Leah is.
Yes, I
Why
did
do
read
you
that.
have me in the library?
Nova sent me a little bit of one of the books, and it's really good. I'm very interested in reading it. So, if you do a beta run of it, Nova, I will be glad to join that. Um, yeah, it's definitely really interesting to me. I like where it's going. I love fantasy, and the world building definitely is going to be on cue. And I do love
um,
your writing, Nova. You're very good writer. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and start a sprint. We're about 8:50 right now, so we can go ahead and do a 15. Come back 5 minutes after 9, and then see where we are, and then we'll jump on to the third question of the night, and then do our third sprint of the night, and see what happens. See what we're feeling at that time. If we're gonna do another one or just roll out at that point. All right, so I'll go ahead and count us out. Three, two, one, and right. I'll see you in 15. And we're back. Ta-da. Everyone can let us know how they did in the comments. I will read your answers in the chat. How did you guys do?
Oh, I'm sorry. 593 at this point.
Very
So
good.
about 300 more. Word.
Very good.
And yeah, it's gonna go way over what I thought it was going to.
That happens.
It's cool.
I
It's just
only
an
got to do
outline.
a paragraph edit on that one since I had to clean up behind the destructive 3-year-old. So that took 10 of the minutes, and I got to at least edit a paragraph in the other 5 minutes that I
Was
have
she
left.
redecorating or something?
Yeah, unfortunately,
With this
redecorating.
setup, you can't
So,
see behind you, so
yeah, the lower part where she works, goofy kid.
she is a
Michael said, 206 words. Nova said, fucking zero. That's okay too.
shocker.
Alec, I'm working on an art piece on my iPad. My mania is bothering me, and I can't pick what to work with right now.
I
That's okay.
hate that.
That's okay too. It happens. You working on something, working on your pad. That's good. I gotta still get mine so I can start doing my art, my covers, my cover design.
When I can't pick, I don't.
Mm.
I don't even. My meds don't work, and my brain is not trying to cooperate with anything. I'm like, fuck it. I'll do whatever. I'll have 85 tabs open, and if I got to do 2 words here and paint something here, I just do that until it focuses back in or refocuses or resets itself.
Yep.
It took me a long time to learn that though, so not like it's like oh I'm just so genius and figured it out. It took me years to figure that out.
Right.
Where in the real world they're teaching you just need to focus and you need to pick something. Well, what if your brain isn't wired that way? And I just need to do whatever the fuck I feel like doing.
Yep. Sometimes that's what you got to do. So question number 3: where do you see yourself as a writer in 5 years? So Feora, you broke it, baby. I cannot perform magic. When you're ruffling toys, they break. They aren't made really for kid power. So anyway,
In 5 years.
where do you see yourself as a writer?
Well, with my husband Orlando Bloom,
Hmm.
5 years, huh? Probably what I pretend to imagine is going on places like the talk. And they're like, Aphrodite, did you see it coming? I'm like, I hope that it happened, but I didn't see it, couldn't predict it. But I hope that everybody liked it. And no, I am really shocked that Brad Pitt wants to play my husband in a movie. Yeah, I what you talking about. Yeah. I don't know where I see myself in 5 years. I have not gone past 2.
That's so. I like the Brad Pitt part.
Oh yeah, sure. Of course he's gonna want to play. He's gonna want to play Chase as an older person.
Alex, I God hate that. I'm like, is that what should what I should do? Thank you for your wisdom and mind you say that very salty. Yes. What about you, DL?
I figure I'll probably still be working on the Metagore series,
Mm-hmm.
or if I have it done, I don't know. Also, should hopefully have my memoir done by then, and maybe some other stuff that I'm going to publish under my pen name done, or at least working on them. And maybe a couple other fantasy stuff or whatever, kind of on the back burner, ready to be published, just not out yet.
Nice. We all have plans in the back of our head, you know what I
I
mean?
actually don't have a 5 year plan, believe it or not.
Shocking for you, Aphrodite.
I didn't expect to still be breathing this long. So
Hey, you
yeah,
got plan. You
it
got
feels
plan
weird
like
for me.
to me. It's like in my head, it's planning like I would live 500 years, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'll get to do it all. But that doesn't mean that I won't attempt it either.
Right.
um,
But that's why I had such a backlog of writing stuff, because back in the old days, there was no self-publishing the way it is now. I
True.
mean, it was vanity press shit, and that was thousands and thousands of dollars, and it still meant
Very
nothing. All it meant is
crappy.
that they made your book.
Mhm.
Your book got made into a book, and nothing the fuck else. So I literally wrote my stuff like I was gonna get published, and I was gonna be out there. I just the same way, the same way I do my Patreon. I treat my Patreon like I have 500 patrons.
Mhm.
I do not treat it like I have whatever. It's like
Yeah.
I have 500 people who are waiting for me to give them content.
Mhm.
And when I had one patron, that's how I treated my Patreon. And now that I have more, I still treat it like that. Like,
That's the correct way
and
to do it.
so
Like
that's,
pretty much anything.
but it's planning as far as the 5 year plan. I've had a 2 year plan, and the 2 years is almost up. So I would have to like
It's
write a
not
new 2 year
even like
plan.
trying to literally sit and plan out or plan the 5 years. I pretty much just meant like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not even. It's just like a, even if it's like a far off, like maybe some people think impossible thing, it's still fine to see yourself there possibly in that 5 years. It's not necessarily having a plan, because plans, you make plans and God laughs. I'm just saying, but you go right ahead and do that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
So
would love in 5 years.
mhm.
I believe that the shattered everything will be. I mean, shattered the glass quarter. Everything will be out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 main books. There's some companion stuff. In the 5 year course, they will be out, and the world would know about them. So I see that.
It's good.
But
Yeah, you know.
as much as I have an imagination, my imagination won't let me go past two.
That's fine. Supernova said in 5 years, I'll be a broadcast writer. Laugh out loud. I'll still be writing. Me. See, Michael said, I just hope to be writing. And
No matter what, I'll be writing.
Tamara said, in 5 years, I'll be making the money that I want to make.
Well, what?
These 3 series will be completed, and maybe another one. I'll have completed a few collaborative book projects and so many other ideas.
Tamara's going to start a commune.
I
She's
like
going to
that
start a
talk.
writing commune.
Alex, excuse my word, my worst, my words are then usually bad type. My computer is acting up. Okay, keep restarting every 20 minutes. Yeah, can't help computers. So they're gonna do what they want to do when they want to do it. Alex, like 5 years, I just want to work from home and sustain an income on books and art. Very good plans. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I guess I would have to say, where do I see myself in 5 years with writing? I would love to be where I would see myself, since I want to be a full time writer. That is my goal. I know myself that I'm going to have multiple sources of income, I would say, because even though that's not the main goal per se, because I just do multiple things, and at some point, some of those things make money. But as far as writing, I do see myself as a full time writer and making a decent living probably on it. Though, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, so I have multiple facet things that I do. So I don't necessarily look for that just to be my only source. So I'm not worried about that portion of it really. But the more people know about my works, the more people that read it, that will be my my what I see for the future. That thousands and thousands of poem people have read my work, which would be
That's
very
what I want.
much the most thing I want out of it. Because right now, not many people know who I am in the writing world. So that's a goal that I have in the back of my head. That in 5 years, I would like to be more known in the writing world, and my type of writing have a following. So
That's
that's
what I
one
want so
thing I
bad.
can. So I don't think you'll have any issue with that
I
whatsoever.
really do. Like I can't wait to see people arguing about those characters and doing dumb shit. Like I want the whole kit and caboodle, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Because I keep thinking about like JK, how she takes that shit in stride, and like when people come for her, I
Yeah.
don't know how I might have to get bodyguards or something because I don't know how striveful I'll
Yeah,
be.
I like J.K. Rowling. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that's like, they're not liking Stephen King and not liking J.K. or whatever. Personally, kind of attacking them in certain aspects, like they know them personally. I mean, it's no way you can really know them personally unless you know them personally.
Right.
Trying to predict who they are based off something you read online or something they may have said. There's one thing to say something on, social media and someone dislike it, then your actions showing those things,
I
taking,
mean,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't 100% like anybody. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's the
And
thing. There's always going to be someone who
yeah,
doesn't
it's
like
going to be something about something. Like I don't like like I'm trying to think of a J.K. Rowling example. I don't like everything she's ever said and done,
that
but
sounds
I do like how she carries herself.
you guys must be like soulmates or something if you liked every single thing she's ever said. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's not really gonna happen because we don't always agree with each other and everything we see or how we see things, and that's fine. But people don't separate this when we're talking about okay. With JK, she writes like she wrote Harry Potter and then Magic and then like there's these schools or something Christian based schools or something going after her books. They want them removed from these libraries and stuff like that because they found out. Okay, ready for the
Wait,
crazy
they want to remove from their schools, not from school, right?
from these libraries in the area that they're in or whatever. They want
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
they want her books removed from the library because the magic spells could conjure something. I'm like, you need to sit your crazy down for like 5 minutes because whatever your belief system is, you need to make sure you have it under control to the point you don't sound like a nut house. Like,
But see, I don't mind like in school, the schools that I went to, certain books were not allowed in the school.
that's
And it was,
fine.
and I don't have a problem with that because their rules are their rules.
That's fine
What
because
I
that's
have a
cool.
problem with is don't say that everybody can't do something.
Yeah, but when you're talking about a library, then you're talking saying that everyone can't do something because that's a
Right.
library that everyone has the right to go in and get a book out of.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. That's
We're gonna start
disrespectful.
censoring fantasy and fiction from existing because you don't like something that was created in a fictional world, then you have some issues that you need to address and you need to block yourself off from everyone else in the world and go hide yourself.
Oh, they gonna come for you, Stewart, because you got a damn gin in your book.
Yeah, they're gonna come
You
for
I
in
got a bunch
trouble.
of demons and everything else.
right.
You
I
in
mean,
trouble.
I told you that's like with my books when I say I read about vampires or fantasy characters or dragons and all this stuff. You get people that's religious. They may say like, "Oh, I don't mess with that stuff." I'm like, "What stuff don't you mess with? Imagination? You don't mess with that? Okay." But it's like that type of thing. I'm just saying that people are going to try to come for you for something, and it's going to be
I just thought that was I thought that was a particular school said they weren't gonna do it, which I was
it's
like,
supposed to be like
they have the right to not have what
maybe
they
they
don't want in
maybe
their
they
school.
own a library or something like that that's connected towards the school and they didn't want it
Um,
in there or something because technically I know in certain aspects and lessons they may get you to read some kind of fiction or fantasy or something like that and they're like, well, we don't want to read that because it's magic, blah 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 blah. Like if your school isn't already some kind of religious setting and they already have those type of books barred from that school in an entire grand scheme. That means if you're going to bar Harry Potter from your school or library or whatever, then you have to bar all fantasy from that. You can't just be like, let's pick and choose because this has a magic spell in it that we think someone might say and it might conjure something. Like you
well,
sound
I'm glad that the schools that I went to didn't do that. Like there
thank
was
God
stuff that
for
they
that.
could not have in the school. It was a Catholic school. They did not play, but you could have books that were fantasy, spells, and crap like that. They did not. As a matter of fact, I was blessed. I went to really great schools
You know
because
what?
they didn't just teach like it was a Catholic, it was a Christian school, it was Catholic school, and
Mhm.
they taught Catholicism was their base religion, but they taught religion classes, and in the religion classes, they taught all religion. They
Mhm.
didn't teach just Catholicism.
Mhm.
They taught
Well,
all
see,
religion, and
you went
I
to good
really
school.
appreciated that.
Yeah, you went to good schools because that's not always something you come across. The reason why I want to homeschool my daughters because she can have more a wider variety option of learning and not focused on this one aspect of how we should see things, you know. So that was another thing. You know,
And
when my
and
mom,
they were good with that. They did not do that.
that was
They would
good
say
though.
that
That
they
doesn't happen
had,
too often.
and I'm taught by nuns, okay, and they would be like, they felt as though that their way was the way, that was the right way, and all that other good stuff. They had it in their heart,
Hmm.
but they did not say you can't be this and you can't be that. And here's what this. They literally taught us across the board. They started with atheists
Hmm.
and went across the board. I learned so much about religion when I was in school that I don't. It was just a great experience. It was a great
Well,
experience.
that's one of the better ways because then also in that aspect, I think it teaches you to respect everyone's decision to follow whatever path they follow in life. Because if you are strictly shown just the one way, you're more than likely going to possibly be shocked and surprised about the different ways that there are in the world. So, you know, when you talk about religion and different things like that, I think it's good to learn about the different cultures and the religions that exist because when you do come across someone who has a religion or says something, you aren't shocked to the point of like being disrespectful to that or saying it doesn't exist or I don't believe that or let me decide to go ahead and put down what you believe. And adults is so like
And
discerning
that's the
and
one thing they
shocking.
did not do.
Right. They
They
yeah.
said they felt like they were right. Don't
Hmm.
get me wrong,
Of
but they never
course.
said you were wrong.
Right. So I mean that's another thing. Now I'm to the point where I'm not gonna say that's not gonna come out my mouth. It's gonna say I'm right for me. That's what comes out of my mouth. I'm right for me. I know what I believe is right for me, and that's where I stop. I'm not gonna say in a grand scheme, I'm right. That's not gonna come out of my mouth because then that's still just literally belittling whatever belief system everyone else has. So you should say it's right for me because that's as far as it goes. It
But
doesn't go
we
any
just tell
further.
the
You know?
kids, we tell all the kids and how we did it. You have to find your own path to God.
You do because you're going to anyway. So it's not like trying to force something down somebody's throat is not going to fly. So that totally angered me about them talking about taking that out of any school because if a kid decides they want to read that, so don't discuss this book either because then we don't allow this book. We don't want you. They pretty much said we don't want you to know it
Well,
exists.
all they do
For
when they
that,
do say stuff like that is just make the kids. I gotta go find why they don't want me to read the book.
that's all they're going to do. So it's like dude, it's
And
not like.
J.K. Rowling did it. She did it. It was a ploy. She started the rumor. And she
Mhm.
said, tell them people not to read them books because, and then everybody said, oh my God, we can't read the books. And then she sold 1,000 more.
I mean, honestly,
J.K.
that book series don't even need no help because it's always like as soon as the movie came out, it was over. Like it was how many more sold, and there's a rumor going around right now that they're making a new Harry Potter movie series with the old cast still in it. So you know that people are going crazy right now anyway for that. So
I'm gonna start a rumor about Shattered. I'm gonna get
yeah,
it going.
go for it. I
Oh my
say.
God. They got all kinds of craziness and madness going on. Do you know that there are redheads in that book?
So what happened? Like Alec said, in 5 years, I just want to work from home and sustain income for book. Oh yeah, I think I read that one. But yeah, that's a really good one. Alec definitely being a full time writer is like an awesome thing for me because working from home and all my other art things that I do are from home based. My design business, custom costume business, all my other stuff is basically from home, except for my cleaning business, obviously. So yeah, and I'm starting a consulting business too. So multiple things going on and you can do from home. A lot of people I know are working from home these days too. No matter which kind of
That's probably why the 5 year
yep,
plan didn't come
DL is
to
one
me
of those.
because I'm already doing everything that I want to do.
Right.
It took me a long time to
It
get to this
feels
point.
good, but I feel good being my own boss. That's just who I am. I feel good being my own boss. So I have my own schedule, my own time. My time is mine. So definitely prefer that. But I want to be a full time writer because I love telling stories. So and super knows unless I get superpowers, then I will be a supervillain. You are so funny. Alex said, wait for people to hate me because killed someone in my book. Well, that's always gonna happen. So
Oh,
and some fans,
I
I'm
killed
going
a lot of people.
I know you do.
I killed somebody that everybody liked. So,
That's going to do whenever you do. But you see, the thing is, when you got characters in your book, let's say your character isn't a total asshole, whatever character that is, and you kill them, Someone's getting upset.
Yeah, I was upset, so I know.
Yeah, get upset with
I
yourself.
know
Like,
I'm gonna
why
kill
did
one
you?
character. My wife's still kind of begs me not to kill him.
Please don't do it. I'm sorry. Story development. It's gonna happen.
There was only one character in my whole book, and I'm gonna say who it is, and that's Lisa, who I would cry if something happened in my brain that said I had to kill her.
Yeah, she got
I love Lisa, and Lisa is a linchpin and a whole bunch of shit that goes on in 3 books. And if I had to also kill her, which tells you she doesn't die, I would be very upset to kill her.
Right?
I think I'd be upset if I killed anybody, really.
You had
my mindset.
I love Lisa, though. I love Lisa. You don't understand Miss Lil Caprio.
I have a feeling DL is going to be the next George R.R. Martin, except for he'll
right?
Lifetime.
Right, what you need a father for? Behead this motherfucker.
Yep, 2 seconds.
All his children.
What happened? Red wedding. Let me see.
They're all teenagers. Who cares that they're teenagers? Kill them.
Steven Lewis, if I ever get famous, if I find a fan who doesn't know who I am, I'm going to ask them about my books and then disagree with everything they say.
You truly are a villain.
I know. I forgot who it was. There was some author. He said he used to get on like Facebook and stuff and find like groups that people's made about his books or about him or whatever, and just get on there with like a fake profile and just start trolling like all the comments and stuff.
Dude, that'd be me.
I would totally do that. I'm like, hell yeah.
Like, fuck Spencer Caprio. Oh my God. People would lynch me if they found me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I might get on one of those and like start giving off spoilers before it's even like revealed. And then when it starts happening, these people are like, who the fuck is this dude?
Just do
How did he know this?
Danny alone would kill me if she didn't know who I was. And I went into a group and I was saying bad shit about Aphrodite Lee's book. Oh my God, why? And Chase was amazing. He's like the coolest.
Oh no. I better not be there. I'll be like, who the is this? You crazy bitch.
You ain't read this book if you think Chase is amazing.
Where you live? Like, stop.
I had a beta reader or whatever quit on me because I killed too many people.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah, he got mad because the first person that dies, like in the war or whatever, he was rooting for them, and he got pissed off and cussed me out about it. And then he picked somebody else, and I'm thinking, well, they're about to
one.
That's good. That's some good shit, though.
That is.
That's how I
was. You did your job, DL. You did your job.
Oh yeah.
I had a beta reader quit on me chapter 1.
What?
I had one told me that she loved fantasy and this and that or whatever. So I was like, all right. And she read the first chapter and literally she's like, I didn't understand what these races were. I didn't like the names. They was too like obscured. This and that. I was like, my names ain't really that obscured. I've seen like names that's like 10 letters. Mine, I feel like you can at least pronounce.
I didn't have one problem pronouncing it.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
None of it, no, I would say not complicated at all, but everybody brain works.
The beta that quit on me, she was like, well, I can see where this is going and how Aaliyah, the main character, is going to end up with the Chase character, and she didn't want to watch like a teen romance and all that other stuff, and I died laughing. I said,
I had another one.
I was so proud of myself at that moment because I said that just meant that my subterfuge game was on point. If that's what you got.
Yeah, I had another beta reader. Like I'd send them like chapters at a time or a couple chapters at a time and a questionnaire. And one of the questionnaires was, what do you think is going to happen with these characters or whatever? You know, predictions. And she'd kind of guess like the first couple of chapters, and then once the war started, she's like, I just feel like everybody's going to die. You know me so well.
At the end of every chapter, I said, predict what you think is going to happen next.
Yeah.
And then predict how you think the story ends. And I was trying to see if the information I was planning was giving the right clues. I was so proud. I just was so proud. And then I would get this, that, and the third, and so and so, and such and such. And as I'm reading, I'm just dying laughing. Like, oh wow, you're gonna be so upset when in the next chapter. Like, okay.
I wanted to come for you a few times.
I had a guy I used to work with, he was beta reading for me, if you read the first chapter and that little comment about Caprinson by Kalama and that little stare she kind of gives him or whatever, he starts like thinking that they used to like hook up and this and that, all this stuff just based off of that. I was like, nope.
You were like, that's funny though.
But that's the thing. Like you're planning these.
I can't wait for that when I do my beta run. It's gonna be interesting to see what people say.
The main thing to make sure that you ask them though is what they really think is going to happen next, just based on what they just read. What's going to happen next, and then tell them to predict the ending just on what they know.
Oh, dude, I can tell you right now. No one, and I mean no one, is going to predict the end of the series. No matter what they read, I can honestly say no one is going to predict it. And when I get my beta,
it's not the worst thing in the world if they do.
No, it's not.
People are clever and they can pick up clues.
If someone does, I would honestly be a little shocked, and I would be happy that they did, because that would be
if someone would get mine, I will put them in the back of my book. I will go.
Yeah, that's how mine is, especially as the story develops or whatever. You start finding more mysteries and stuff. And there's actually an oracle that gets put into book 2, and she gives off hints, but so vague and stuff. And
cool.
The other characters kind of perceive it to be one thing, and they even say that, and then the oracle's like, no.
I like when the character tells you the answer like 5 chapters back, and you just messed it. I love that shit.
And they figure it out once it comes up.
I love it. Yeah. I had a thing. Oh, I can't say now because I'll be giving away that. I told
Don't give away too much now.
One thing I'm going to try to carry over.
Get in the book that tells you everything.
Yeah, you gotta cut it.
Something I'm going to carry over from all 4 books is Broughton's death and that whole scenario. I know that was something I really wasn't even going to touch on whenever I first started outlining the book at the very beginning. My wife was like, yeah, you got to add into that. And now I'm just going to kind of clue in just a little bit all the way until the end of the series. Cool. And I had a beta reader where it said they liked that, like in the first book, how it kind of keeps referencing to him since he dies in like the first or second chapter or whatever.
Yep.
So see, I like how he was like barely in here. He's only really in 1 chapter, but as the story progressed, I felt like I knew more and more about him and stuff.
Yeah, I do like stuff like that. That's how Philip is in my book.
That's really cool. I like that.
And Shattered, that's how Philip is, I should say.
Super notice that my books would create cults. My cults wear t-shirts and read stuff. You are so funny. Like I said, I have people who love each other in mine. I know, right? They're gonna totally freak for that. Especially being Christian. My book is straight up sin, all wrapped up with a nice gay bow.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you guys this. You too, my DLs, because I recently came across this, and I've been struggling with it for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I have a character, Baron. His name is Baron, who is as far as his sexuality goes, he's like everything. He doesn't care. He loves and likes everything, but he's a bad guy, and I mean a really bad guy.
Yeah, worse than
so I got nervous because it was looking like I was having queer characters who were bad guys, and I didn't want to give the impression saying that I thought that queer people were bad people, because I had a couple of bad characters who fall into the LGBTQ plus community, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm giving the wrong signal, that I'm saying something that I don't want to say. So I altered a scene that he was in. This is months ago. I altered the scene because I was like, I don't want to do this because I don't want people to think I'm saying something I'm not saying. But then I got mad with myself because I was like, I'm leaving him the fuck alone. I'm not going to alter.
You couldn't. Not for that. Because
it wasn't. My question is this. I put it back. My question is this. Have you made any changes in your story because you got worried about not what people would think about the story, but how it could be misconceived? Like, have you done that or second guessed the part? Because I really did. I went back and forth with that, and I initially decided that I was going to change it because I didn't want it to look like, oh yeah, queer people are bad guys. I don't want to say that because I'm not saying that.
I mean, I wouldn't say that that should be a thought just because, because I mean, people who are gay or whatever, like, they're people too. So people are going to be
Right.
bad people. If someone reads your book and they're like, I feel she signal out gay people to say they're bad people, that's their problem. You know what I mean?
And that's what I was telling myself.
Right. I mean, because at this point,
But I'm like,
you're not that person. Because okay, you
I'm
have
not.
Dar is kind of like bisexual or something, I guess, right? Something like that. But
No, Dar's asexual.
okay, so Dar being asexual in that
And
community,
she's a good guy.
right. So I don't think, I mean, if someone thinks that, I'm be honest with you, it's nothing you could do about that because what you can't do as a writer is start being like, well, I should avoid making this character be a bad guy because it's going to offend someone because this person turned out to be a bad guy. Like, that's kind of like if you pick a person of any orientation of whatever, rather background of race or handicap or whatever.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that I had a problem with him being a bad guy and being he isn't gay, he's a bi guy. I had a problem with the fact that I was worried that people were going to say I was saying
right. That's what
I'm guy because he was bi.
Right. I know what you're saying. I'm saying that you can't ever know who's going to say that because there are certain subjects that are sensitive, but again, you're writing your book, so you can't. If you do that, you're going to alter what your plans were. And the only reason to change your plans in your book or whatever section is because the story flowed that way, or you felt that this would be better written this way or that way, not because of social opinion or the way the world's working right now. Things is going down in social media and things of that nature, like popular culture and stuff in my opinion, I can't write that under that stigmata or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to write under that because if you do, again, you're not writing true to what you were headed to, because it's not like you were trying to sit there and be like, I'm taking this bisexual person and I'm making them a villain. Every person
I definitely did do that. But I got nervous about that because I thought about different, other people that's in the book. And I was like, oh, if I do that, people are going to say I'm trying to say something that I'm not.
Right. So that's the thing. And you can't know what people are going to conceive it as. You don't know that. You can't read people. People are going to get upset for whatever they're going to get upset for. The thing is to know that you have nothing to defend because you're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, that as you're writing it. If that's what you're planning, then obviously you're discriminating against someone because you're trying to get away with it in your writing, but you're not doing that. So rather people think something of you or not, because okay, another subject is okay, like me, I run a body acceptance convention, right? In today's world, I would be seen as a SJW just because I have a cause that I deal with, because social justice warriors are very focused on this aspect of this thing I'm doing, and to the point that they losing sight of what they're doing, but maybe they're not, because maybe that's what they're up to begin with. But no, see, I can't be seen as that, but there are going to be people that's going to automatically put you in a box because of one thing or something that's not related to that thing, but they think it is. That's my point. So you really don't need to worry about that, in my opinion. You just go ahead and write.
But I was worried. Like I went back. I was going through my character sheets, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting that scene right the fuck back the way it was.
Yeah.
And it was a small scene, but it was still a telling scene. But I was just wondering if y'all ever like came across that crossroad, like, ooh, people want to see this wrong. It bothered me. It did bother me because I do not want to offend a group of people who I fucking stand up for. So I don't want them to look at me like, wait, what is she trying to say? And I wasn't trying to say that. That's what I was worried about.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I've thought it maybe when I'm writing something with, would this be that, but I don't it doesn't affect me to change it at all in that instance, because I know I'm not doing that. That's the way my story flowed. That's who trying
Right.
to be a bad guy or
But I,
whatever.
I was playing that in my mind too, and I was hearing people when I'm saying, but that's not what I was doing. Oh, you're just insensitive. You didn't realize that's what you did, bitch. No, it's not at all. I am fully aware of what I was doing with this character. I was not saying that queer
Well,
people are bad.
no, I get what you mean, because it falls in line with people choosing to write about a certain race of people or a certain community of people because they want to sell books, or they feel like this group of people will read this if I write this character in this way. That I cannot respect in the least bit, because if you go and write in a book saying, I want to write this book about this race of character so I can sell to this group of people because I think it'll sell really well. That's insulting, and no one's your toy to play with. People's issues are not your toy to play with. So don't go in focusing on that. If your character turns out to be whatever, that's fine. But if you're focusing on that aspect of the character so you can sell books and try to get some kind of message across to the point where that's your focal point of you writing is you're just trying to use politics to sell your book, that I can't respect. I just don't, because it's, first off, it's like if you take a character, I'm going to write about black people and my main character is going to be black and this character is going to be black because I can sell to a community of black people, then that's like, no, don't do that, please, because no one's your little plaything to write about. So if someone's doing that, because that's what people be trying to say you're doing, like, oh, she has a message
Pandering.
trying to send. You're not pandering. So as long as you know you're not pandering, you can't, like I said,
I know that, and I know.
right. You're going to have people say it no matter what you write.
True.
It could go
Well,
either way.
ultimately, I told myself, I'm not. Forgive my if y'all hearing noise. I have the worst neighbors. That's why I told myself that I'm like, you know what? I'm putting that scene back the way I want, why it was organically came
Right.
to me, and I just don't want. Right? See what Michael said, and that's what I didn't do that, and I don't want people to think that that's what I did. And
Uh,
thank you, Michael. That's
like
what
I
I
said,
was trying to say, but I couldn't think of how to
and
say it right.
one short in one short, I have a relationship where some people might jump to the conclusion there might be a pedophile relationship. I mean, it's PSI, and there are time shifts. Let me see here.
Now I was looking at another one where he said my name.
Second one. Yeah, I'm going down the list. The reason why people might have a problem is that historically gay people in stories were portrayed as clowns or insane or immoral. It's a historic trope. So yeah, like I said, you're going to be able to offend anyone with something. Now you can't say let's say females, okay, because we know that's a big talk right now, feminism and all that jazz. So you can't take something and say I want to be equal, and then put it in a box and say, well, let's be equal about this because this is what I choose, and let's not be equal about the rest because that's not fair. You can't have equality, as you say, and then pick and choose still what you want to be equal about. Don't open your mouth with being equal and then you get to choose what that equality entails. Look up the word of equality, and then that's what you're going to get. You can't say, I want to be equal to these people. I want to be equal to, I'm a female. I want to be equal to men. Everything, we should make sure that we're equal on every footing. But you have to understand what comes with that. Because when you want something, you get it all. You can't go back and say, we're equal, but men and women and children first off of this plane. No, everyone off this plane at the same time. We don't get to choose that it's going to be women and children. You said you want to be equal. That's going to follow suit to every aspect of your life, meaning why do men get to be last off this plane because they're men? That
No,
doesn't
I mean
follow.
I 100%, 500% hear you. I was just wondering if that ever came up while y'all were writing. Like, wait
Yeah,
a
I mean, I'm sure everyone.
minute.
I mean, I'm sure, especially right now, in today's world, everyone's thinking that probably when they're writing something. I mean, I can't say that I think it probably when I'm writing something. I don't think it comes into my mind that, okay, I wonder if this group of people is going to be offended by this, because I know someone is going to be offended. There's someone offended about everything that you do when you're going to put something in the public. Someone's getting offended. Like as soon as you said some words on here today, someone's offended by it.
Well, my whole thing was like you've read the book, so you know he's not a bad guy because you know he's queer. He's a bad guy who happens to be queer.
I mean, the thing is about
being queer is not the bad. Is not a bad guy.
You know how many times I've read that Shattered because I'm the alpha. So you know how many times I've read it, and honestly, his sexuality never even came into play. Like in my mind, like the whole time reading the book, didn't even think of it a little bit. So him being a shitty person that he is, it was just because he was a shitty person.
And he's a very shitty person.
Even Chase being a shitty person, nobody thought about his sexuality until it came into context, until it was spoke about a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. So because him being his sexuality isn't what the book is about.
No. So when it's brought out and addressed directly, when it's brought up and addressed directly about it, then that's when it's going to come into possibly someone's thought process. But again, that's their personal thought process. They are thinking along that line. It's kind of like if you make a post on Facebook and you made a post just generally about something, and this one person comes up and they find offense to what you posted because they are thinking about it themselves. It has nothing to do about what you said.
You know that happened to me, right?
It always happens.
I put you know, you guys, I put teasers up. Y'all are my friends on Facebook, so y'all know. So I put teasers up on my wall all the time for the different books. And I put a teaser up for the part of the 5th chapter in Encounters. And this guy came on my wall and was talking about that I was writing about rape. And so my initial thing was, if your brain went to rape, it's something wrong with you.
That's what you're thinking about.
So, but I said it in I said what I said, but I said it better than how I'm saying it right now. Like, I had to go back and reread it to see if it could be misconstrued in the way that he just did. And then I said what I said. So then he said, oh, well, he said something snarky. But then he came back and he goes, I talked to some of my friends and I showed them your post and they said I'm wrong. And I was like, I told you were wrong. Everything that was going on in that little paragraph that you read was consensual. Every bit of it. Where were you getting? He's getting raped because it was a kink. And that's where his brain was going like, oh, that's not cool. Like, what's going to happen to this girl? You know, I'm like,
okay,
wait, please. I blocked him because he was stupid.
Look, because
for me, he literally had to ask other people and they told him he was stupid.
All right, so listen,
people's gonna hate my book,
dude. Yeah, they will. Look, there's always
you name it. It's probably gonna be in the series.
I'm loving it.
There's always going to be sheep come ban in your field like that. They're gonna come in your field, and you be like, "Where's this sheep coming from? I don't even have no sheep over here." And all of a sudden, you're gonna have sheep. So you gotta go ask your friends, am I right or am I wrong? Like
he literally took my post off my page, sent it to a private message just to various friends, told them what he said, and expected them to agree. And the only credit I gave him is that he came back and told me that they said he was wrong.
All right.
But
I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm sorry, he just got pegged. And I just talked about this a second ago about
thank you for sharing my book with other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Probably actually, my sales probably did go up.
Yeah.
I pay attention, damn.
Dude, like, I'm sorry, but that's just, if somebody come on my post about my book, like talking about some pandering world, like, don't come talking to me about that. I'm right. I wrote a book and you want
that hurt my heart though. I was sitting there going like, what the fuck? What do you know about rape, dude? Seriously.
I wasn't in part of an FBS. I'm sure you were.
Probably. I blocked them.
Blocking is part all you can do. But I'm like, look, take your SJW life.
But you know why I blocked him? Because I felt like I don't want to be a part of anybody. I don't want him to be a part of me. If he can read that scene, like Like, what is wrong with you? Don't come around.
So apparently, to him,
Associate with me. What something's wrong with
to
you?
him, any kind of intimacy part would be like rape. Like you have some kind of issues going on there.
I'm gonna show you what I put up there so y'all can see.
Only imagine, obviously, what it was because of we said. Like, first off, I don't have time for SJWs, nor do I have time for beta males. Okay, I don't have time for that. You got your beta male. Here you come. You think you're going to defend women? Here you come with your little save the day. Oh, look, stop. Just stop right now. We don't need that because we have enough of that all over the place right now. Okay, so I'm writing a book here. This is a work of
Oh
fiction.
my god, that hurt me though. That hurt me from my
You heard
heart.
this little part, and you came up and was like, "Whoa, I think that this sounds like rape. It's great to have it here." I'm like, your interpretation is a little off, but that's cool. But don't come at me and then try to be like giving me an attitude about something you write. Like, bye.
Oh, and then, but he still tried to play it off too. Like, I guess apparently I must be too old to understand. I was
Yeah,
like, stupidity,
too old.
not old,
You
stupid.
too old. Your mentality is messed up, dude. Nobody care about your age. Like, no, see, no.
Too
Mm-mm.
old to understand. Too
I don't
old
have
to
time for
understand
that.
that it was a consensual situation.
No, bye. So whatever. Take that. Just take it somewhere and shove it. I got time for that.
Like,
Anyway,
I don't understand fantasy. I'm
well,
like,
don't
I
be
don't
fantasy.
understand
Then nobody
anything.
read it. Why don't you
It
read
was
some real world books
crazy.
or something? Nobody don't have time for that.
I
Like, just
had to block them though, so all that stuff is
stop,
gone now, so I don't have it. But I
stop trying to
had
pull
to block them.
things. Nobody don't have time for none of that. Like, leave stuff alone.
I
Stop.
know he's wondering what happened.
Yeah, forget him. Good. Block. Bye. So we can do one last sprint. It'll take us a little over 10 o'clock, so it'll be like about 6 minutes after 10. So if anyone else who wants to write with us, go ahead. We're going to do one last sprint, see what other words we could get in, and finish up a few things, and we will be back at about 6 minutes after 10, and we'll do our
6 minutes.
yes. 6 minutes after 10, we should be back. Or
All
7 minutes now. 7 minutes after 10. All right. I'll see you guys in
right.
15. I'll count us out.
Oh, it's a 15. Okay, that's why. Okay.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, and right. See you in 15. And we're back. So I went over about a minute. Once you get into a little part, sometimes it's hard to stop. Uh, right. Let's see where everyone is. Let me know how you did in the comments if you are still writing with us, and I will read your numbers. All right, let me refresh this. How did you do, Aphrodite? So you got very good numbers tonight.
Almost 900 and not anywhere near done, but I will be done before the night is over.
Good job. Good job. Let's see. My chat over here is a little behind, but
I got 478.
yeah, that's usual DL numbers right there. Michael at 244 words. Good job. I did manage to edit 2 pages on that one, so about 600 and something words, I believe. Let's see if anybody else got anyone else is still writing with us. See if they got anything before we do our little close out. Bayor, come here. Hey, girly, come here. You know, gonna take mommy's books out of the library. Thank you. Oh yeah, yeah, kids. Okay. You can't with them.
My grandson, he got to play with his cousins the other day at a housewarming party, and he's the littlest one, so obviously they all want to just be all around him because he's the littlest one. And one of his cousins who he never met, girl cousin, and she was holding him, and he was holding on to her like this. And I said, well, what are you doing, Tyler, man? He goes, she's my best friend. It was so cute. They are so crazy. Like, you just met her. She's my
Uh,
friend.
I think all kids
they
are like
love.
that. And all mine are.
They love. They're so sweet though.
She's
Let's
just
see.
so cute.
My all right, she hitting the acapella notes anyway. Alex is still doing my painting. Love painting, kissing, and singing. Oh, cool, cool.
I would give anything to be able to draw like that. I
I'm
can draw one person on a page at a time, and they can't be interacting with anybody else.
well. I can't wait to see what I can do once I get my new pad. So I'm curious. You always drew when I was younger. Um, so I'm gonna try to see what happens. And I am getting the artist to still do the full body of Cagliostro, the 2 shots for me to see what I can work with and mesh into a background, all that stuff. I just want to play with it and see if I'm capable to make my covers that I would want because I don't know if I like my style or not because I've never made a cover before. That would depend
Photo
on.
manipulation I could do if I was going to do a cover,
Mm,
and I could do the silhouette s kind of stuff that I really, really the style I really like. But the ones I would want for my fantasy covers, there's no way I could do.
yeah, so I want to see what's what is possible. Even if I get another artist that I stick with to do my cover art, and then I do photo manipulation, maybe that'll work for me too. It still will be less costly
Oh yeah,
than me getting like one cover done for $600 or whatever or something like that. Because the girl
it
I
wouldn't cost. It wouldn't cost me anything because I have Photoshop. I have writing a drawing majiggy tablet. I have everything I already need, and I
mm-hmm,
could get stock photos that are free and ones that aren't free. I can get for real cheap.
right.
So literally, if I had to gift, I could do it.
Yeah, so I'm playing with it. I'm gonna see what happens because if I like what I'm doing with it, then I'll go for it. If not, then I will just have to shell out the cash on it and get it done because the person I want to do it, her price is going to be around like $850, $900 for one cover, and that's not format involved.
I,
Or I would go
I
with 8 little
couldn't do that.
pages. Yeah, that's that one chick I showed you her stuff. Like I like her stuff even more than the other person I was talking to before, and her prices just recently went up, so I don't know what her price is for the 3 book set now. So I'm just going to see what happens, and then, like I said, during the time that my editor has the book and I can learn and see if I like my style, then I will do it myself. If not, I mean, I'm really talented in so many other aspects, so possibly I will like what I have there. Um, we'll see what happens. I don't know right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to paying people. My eyes already hurt thinking about it because I know what I can do, and I know if I take time, you know how I am. I'll get into it, and I'll be able to make something really nice. But I just do not want to do it. I
I
just
feel that.
don't.
That's like when I do
I
costume
don't.
design and I make my own clothes at times, but sometimes I also don't feel like doing that. Like that dress I showed you today that I'm going to get down the line, I can make that, but point is, do I want to? So
Right.
there's that too. So I'll see how I feel about making book covers. Will I just enjoy it to the point that I want to do it, or will I just be like, I don't feel up to this? I need someone else to do this for me because I have so much going
And
on.
see me, I know me. The minute, because my one of my goals is that my publishing house, other people can publish through me, and I really want to help out people coming behind me in a couple years. And I know if I start doing that, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna make a cover for this person, and I'm gonna drive myself crazy because it's got to be perfect and it's got to be this. I know me. I know how I am.
I do, I did start a publishing house. So if I get to the point where I'm publishing other authors' books, then of course I probably want to have my own list of book cover artists that can be used in that,
Right.
like if I become a
I
full
already see me sourcing out.
publisher. So I'm thinking that I would, if I'm going to that aspect, I'm not going to do that portion myself for someone else because it would be too much work to do. I already know about having to run something and doing every aspect of that something. It will drive you up a wall.
Plus,
So
I know too many artists like that are book cover artists. Like where I got my gin cover.
hmm
That's
then
like my favorite cover. I know that she can do book covers for $250-$300,
yeah.
and I would gladly bring her on board in my company and say, "Hey, you're the book cover person now."
So I mean that's the thing. Like so if I start sourcing, I start publishing other authors, then I would have to, I'd hire, someone to be the editor for the company, and then someone to be, I'll probably have multiple editors. We start off with one, and then the cover artist probably start off with two. I know people in different price ranges and brackets and different styles that I could use. I've been buying for a while for pre-mades, and I like different people's styles. There's even one a person that does like fine art, I guess they call it, for book covers. So it's all hand drawn style art. Looks like paintings almost for covers. So that's a different style that you don't see a lot of. Of course, then you have people that do what's like I forget what's called. Tamara writes the style. What's that style
Oh,
called?
I love Tamara book covers. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that style. I've seen another book cover artist that does that style. So you need different styles because if you're gonna run a publishing house, you don't know what kind of stories you know what kind of stories you can go after, or books you can go after, but you also need different avenues, different types of artists to cover all those different genres. One who draws really good fantasy stuff and type things like that. Prices change based on all that,
Right.
anyways.
Alec, depends on your state, but you can get a sole proprietorship really easy.
Yeah,
Well,
very
Not, yeah,
true.
DL Stewart better can tell you steps better than I can because I stumble on my words. But yeah, if your state, like, it doesn't cost a lot of money
Yep.
to own you, the whole nine. Like it's so simple. You're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, it's kind of like I just started mine as a sole proprietor. Usually, I mean, I usually once you in my state, I think it works everywhere as far as the EIN number.
Even registering in Maryland is only like $25.
what
Yeah,
it is
that's
in
their part.
Arkansas.
Unless you're talking about a name. Now the name has changed the way they do it now. So if you in Maryland, if you register a business, now I have my EIN number, and no matter what business I open, that's my
Yep,
EIN number.
and
So
that's your EIN number for life.
right, that's your number for life. So when I opened another business, they don't have it where okay, you put the name at all. You don't put the name at all when you're registering the business. That's just, of course, completely separate now. It didn't used to be that way. It's completely separate now with the trade name. So you have to pay with the trade name, even though they're going to ask you questions about what the business is. And then they say, okay, well, this went through and your business is registered. You have to separately, of course, pay for the trade name. But before they would at least ask you, what's the name of this business? Now they don't. They don't ask what the name of the business is because they don't want anything to do with that portion, because they're going to make you pay separately for the trade name, obviously, which they always did, but it was cheaper before. Now it's $75 either way, because they have like the fees and stuff like that to pay for your trade name. So that changed a little bit in Maryland. I don't know what the other states
And
have.
the other thing is that
Arkansas.
you have to make sure that your name isn't the same as somebody else's in the state that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And that, let's give you a better example. Like, let's say that the name of your business is Alec Williams Emporium,
Mm-hmm.
and there's another Alec Williams Emporium in California. They will let you get away with that as long as what your emporium isn't the same thing as what they're doing. Like, if they're selling t-shirts and you're selling coffee mugs, you can get away with it. But
if you don't go do business in their state,
right, and
you're gonna go in their business,
you get away with it at all in the same state.
Mm-hmm. So if you go do business in that state, you wouldn't be able to just go do business in that state if that state has that business registered there. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then technically that business can say to you that you like absolutely cease and desist.
Yeah.
If you try to do something there, like you could actually talk to them like, hey, I don't sell t-shirts, I sell coffee mugs.
Yeah, they
won't care about that. But if they say they have priority there, so if they say no way, Jose, then you have to like skedaddle.
So that's
it's not hard. I promise you.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just basic reading. That's the easy part.
I did go to a lawyer, but that's because I just want to make sure that what I had, the information I had, was right, which it was, because this ain't my first business, and I already had an EIN. Your EIN is your employee number, so your employee identification number. So you get that. You don't even have to pay for that, but you do have to register.
Yeah.
And because I was opening a daycare center, I had to make sure I had that. Any business that I had fell under that umbrella, so to speak.
Yeah, because you keep the same EIN business as you
open. I promise you, Alec, it is not hard. Just look into it.
It's all about reading.
Everybody who has their own independent publishing thing that you see, like they're doing their stuff on Amazon, and what's the other one called? Stewart.
Ingram Sparks.
Ingram Spark. You have to have it on Ingram Spark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to have it on Ingram Spark. So.
Yep.
I don't know how it is.
Don't do that.
I don't know how it is there, but I know here you go to the courthouse to get your doing business as or whatever to create the
doing business as,
and then you have to go to the city hall to actually register it for the state and county and stuff.
Well, we can do it online, but yeah, you still have to go through all those things. Yeah. And I had to go through, because I had before the publishing stuff, I had my EIN when I got out of college, because I knew I was starting a business. Yeah. So I had to do everything online.
Yeah,
they don't want you to come look at them.
Yeah, in Maryland they allow you. I had the same EIN since I started my belly dance school back in 2004. And I've used the same EIN number when I opened my cleaning business up. But it's pretty much like a rebranding, because my mom had it before, but we have different EIN numbers, obviously. So when I opened it up, then I had, it's under the same EIN number. Then my design business is under the same EIN, and so on and so forth. So when I did the publishing house, I opened it, but I haven't put it out there yet until I do, obviously, my first book. So I did that just to cover myself, to have a publishing house to do dealings with people who only want to deal with publishing houses.
Right. Cover your butt, Allie. Get it done.
Because they might be like, oh, you're just a writer and I don't want to talk to you. Like, where's your publishing, blah, blah, blah. So I won't have to come across that if I already have myself branded with a publishing house, whether I am the boss of it or not. It's just to back yourself up as a writer, to have that. And it's not, you're a business anyway. When you're a writer, you're a self-published writer, you are a business. So you should treat yourself as just a business. So
it helps keep the taxes separate from your personal.
It helps you with your taxes. I'm telling you.
Yep, this is true. So keep everything in and all the ducks in a row, so to speak. So yeah, I definitely.
Me and my friend, we also have a nonprofit that we got to keep everything separate from that.
Yep.
So
yep.
And it's not even remotely connected to anything else I do.
Yeah, it can't be because of being.
It can't be because of just The rules, and the rules are great, like, and they're just and they are important, but
Yep.
it is a lot. It is a
All
lot.
right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and do our close out. You want to start DL with your close out?
I'm
I'm just
Deal Stewart.
picking him first.
I always go first.
I don't want to say
Yeah. Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly.
it's
Don't be
too late.
jelly.
I'm special.
I'm green.
Yeah.
I'm green with envy.
Oh.
I'm Dale Stewart. I write adult medieval fantasy most of the time. My debut novel, The Battle for Medagore, is out on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, Books Depository, and a bunch of other stuff. You go check it out. The ebook is for 99 cents on Amazon, and the paperback sold the normal price at $14.99. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, a Patreon, got a newsletter and a website and all that stuff. Everything's Dale Stewart author, so pretty easy to find. So.
Oh yeah. He's everywhere. Watch out. The links for all his stuff is below. If you don't see one of his links, then like you said, you can look him up through his name. Easy to find. But his book link is below, so make sure you get yourself a copy of that while it's on sale, because that's a steal price for sure. And Aphrodite, you want to do your closing?
I'm here. No, I'm just playing.
Yes. We like to keep you in the middle, so I'm just saying.
I am in the middle, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the meat of a DL sandwich.
You are. So
But I forgot what I was gonna say.
you're closing, so something to do with that.
I have a book coming out in November. Please, if you want to be a part of the process, let me know. If you have books that you want to have at my party, because I'm doing online stuff and I'm doing a physical, people are showing up party. So if you want to be a part of that, hit me up. I'm easy to find too.
Don't come out, Mink. Stay.
I know, right? I'm easy to find too. You know, I always go by my name. So find me everywhere. Encounters the 7 Erotic Sins is on sale for 99 cents as well.
Link below.
Go check it out if you haven't already. It is a fun read.
Be like, fanning myself.
Oh, the what do you call it? The audio version will be out this year.
Oh yes.
I'm so proud of the job that my producer is doing on this bitch. I'm so proud.
Yeah, it's really good.
She's knocking it out the park.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
I
good.
can't wait for her to read other parts of that universe.
So check Aphrodite out. We have the website below, and I'd like the link to her book that she just mentioned as well. And if you again get in contact with her, you want to check out, if you're local, you can check out the release party that's happening November 30th. And if you're not local, you can still be a part of the event by contacting her, and she can let you know the details of what that entails. As you know, I'm author DL Tillery. This is my channel. We do our write-ins on Tuesday and Saturday. I do one on my channel always on Saturday, unless I have something else come up that makes me not be able to do it. And then on Tuesday, Aphrodite, I flip flop back and forth with that. So I think it's on your channel next week, Aphrodite, right?
Yeah, and I got some good questions for you all, so be ready.
Yay. So we'll be on Aphrodite's channel Tuesday coming up, and then I'll be back again next Saturday. I am, I write horror and paranormal and romance undertones in most of my novels, but I am definitely a mistress of horror. So a horror would be my leading goal, and fantasy along with that, because I love fantasy. So
I forgot to say that. I'm a fantasy writer.
Yep.
Paranormal fantasy writer.
Yep, she does dibble into a few things.
Yeah. Don't let the first two things fool you.
Yeah, don't be thrown
They
off.
needed to be out of my brain is why they're first, but it's not my concentration.
We're versatile in this little group here. So you can see what
we all write fantasy though, right? All three of us. All three of us write fantasy.
All three of us do fantasy in some shape or form. If you want to check out what I'm up to, what I'm doing, you can check out my website. I do try to update that once a month with a new poem and or short story. I haven't put a new short horror story on there in a minute because I've been busy with Cagliostro. But if you have not read my The Room Within short horror story, please go over there and check that out. That is on its own page there, and I have poetry on the main page. I have a section for that, so if you want to check out what I do, then you can check it out there. I have a Patreon, Instagram, all that jazz. You can find me under author DL Tillery. If you just Google me, I'll show up in various places. Alrighty, so thank you for joining us for this week's write in. Good job on your word count. Like everyone did really, really well. So pray for me, please, to finish revision in my deadline. Because I need all the luck and prayers I could get. Um, but we will see you on Tuesday on Aphrodite's channel. And thanks, and follow any of the links below. If you're not subscribed to any of our channels or you want to subscribe, please do subscribe. Get DL and Aphrodite on there if you can. Thanks, and I'll see you Tuesday. Bye.
Peace.